My favorite parts were for sure having like everybody that I legit grew up with in those scenes, because I really wanted to like capture just like the reality of like my upbringing and like the people that I was surrounded by, and like really bringing that atmosphere into this video. So I kind of did, I think, picture it a little bit differently, but we were we chose to use my grandma's front yard, so it's kind of make it look like a backyard party, but the funny part is we were actually having a backyard party during shooting the scenes of this backyard party. So yeah, we ended up, I really wanted to get my family in it, and it was really difficult to like pull all my family together and be like, yo, like, can you be in my video? So I chose a day where I knew like they're gonna be partying, they're gonna have like all this shit going on, they're gonna be drinking, like they're gonna be down, let's do it. So we show up to my grandma's house, I used the front yard, friggin' made a bonfire out in the fucking front yard and burned a hole in the grass and had all my cousins there and like the homies there. So it was like it felt like a real like, just a real like memory, I guess. It felt nostalgic almost, like to really be in that atmosphere again.
Nunca tiene nadie talking body catching bodies, real big man, right? Say he got it from his poppy, even drank so much. Now he looking like his copy, but ain't nobody tell him he was really the one. Had to look into himself to find somebody to trust. If I don't kick around the energy, it's only because I'd rather sever from the venom. I owe that to my sons.
So we also shot at both of my grandma's houses, actually. One of my favorite scenes, which was the scene where I am training with my grandpa, who is actually my grandpa, in my grandma's front yard and in her backyard, because it's actually something that we used to do, you know, like as a kid growing up in high school. I don't know, I got into like, I was always into sports and like boxing and bike riding, things like that. So back in the day, like, and he's an experienced boxer, and he was always like, you know, like, if you ever want, like, come through, like, I'll train you, I'll show you, like, you know, if you don't have to compete, you could just come, you can learn, it's good for you to know. On my first day of freaking kindergarten, he was, like, teaching me how to make a fist and stuff, so, like, we actually used to do that. Like, I'd go in the backyard, and he'd put the bag up, and, like, have his mitts and stuff, and, like, we'd just go rounds, and so capturing that was really, really dope for me, because, like, it's a really special, like, part of my childhood, but also, like, my upbringing, and really just made me who I am today, you know, that man like really made me like a tough ass kid, you know, so I'm really glad that I got to capture that. And then my grandma kind of pops out for a short period in the video too, where she has like her roses and stuff, which is also super just symbolic and important to me, because that's just kind of how I will always remember her, and how I have always remembered her, is just like tending to her plants, and her roses are like her pride. So it's cool that she was like just naturally doing it, like not trying to be in the video, but she went and she cut that little rose, and she like walked up the stairs, and it's like super pretty and bright, and like it looks really cute. So I really felt like I just captured them in that moment, and like our relationship and how things really were. I'm for sure gonna say the bonfire and using my grandma's house and burning a hole in her grass and like getting all drunk and turnt with my cousins there and the homies there, and like it was a really good time, man. And I had my little sisters there like watching what we were doing, and that was probably like one of the most fun for sure, aside from like the scenes with my grandpa. And I want to say the EOTR scene too was probably definitely one of the most memorable, because that night, like, it totally didn't go the way that I guess I had wanted it or expected it to go, but still we were able to get like everybody in. I think I got like, we actually were pouring the drinks and actually drinking the drinks, and during, like, while we're working, and I think I freaking got too drunk that day too, and it was dope. That's for sure like one of the most memorable parts, especially because of the location too. Like, that was a place where we did share all those memories like that, where we were able to come and celebrate our little victories and like just kick back and like be a fam, you know? So yeah, man, that was probably one of the most fun. The song is pretty much, I guess when I wrote it, I was kind of just picturing like how I got to where I am right now from where I started. And even like as a kid, where I grew up, like the people that I used to hang out with, the things that I used to do back in like my hometown, just kind of reminiscing on that and kind of like remembering a time where I really didn't think that I was gonna end up like where I am now, and I guess as wise as I am now and just as confident as I am now, because I used to kick it with a lot of people who, I don't know, just kind of seemed like they were just stuck in one place, you know what I mean? So kind of reminiscing on that and just appreciating the fact that I have been able to kind of pull myself out of like the cycles and just like the old way of thinking, I guess, that I feel like I grew up around within my city, within like just the peers that I had around me, even family and stuff. But just appreciating, like the things that really made me who I am and kind of acknowledging the good and the bad and really just like looking forward to the future, you know what I mean? Like getting myself out of there and, just taking off, blasting off. Like the hook, I want to just kind of shed some light on the hook because it brings me back to like a specific, I think, memory and feeling that I'll always cherish like for the rest of my life since I decided to, get out of the shell and become an artist. Gliding down the 5, there's a specific night where I think it was probably like my first show coming from Whittier to East LA, driving down the 5 freeway in the middle of the night, like you could see the buildings, all the lights, and I remember being like super anxious and just like had all these thoughts and like emotions and feelings. I had like some friends with me and just like rushing towards that area and driving down the 5 freeway. And I'll never forget the way that I felt and the way that it looked that night, to drive and just get to that destination. And really, I felt like I was driving into or just like stepping into who I was supposed to be, like who I was meant to become in a way, like leaving an old chapter and coming into a new one just with that drive, So that's kind of what I wanted to shed light on because in a way that's how it feels sometimes, like I'm driving out of my old life and I put myself on a plane and I went to Europe and I went around the world, you know what I mean? So yeah, it really represents that for me, like what the next step is and like how hard I've worked to really get myself to where I am now and just to see success and like just to continue being better than I ever thought that I could be. So, all right. Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in, for listening, to all those who have supported and followed and just been there from the jump, who have seen my growth, because I really feel like this song in particular kind of just sheds light on that, So if you were one of the ones who saw Kiddo from the jump and even before I became an artist, to where I am now, I'm showing so much love to you right now. And all the new people as well. Anybody who is just getting to know me, man, I really hope that, you're able to tune in and check out those old projects and really like see or join me on this journey. Really join me on this journey because it's a special one and it's not over yet, you know what I mean? So Off the Ground, produced by Sid. This is Kiddo. Thank y'all so much for sharing, supporting, watching.
When I felt the hardest for was love Chanel. See, I'm doing since a youngin', so she play by yourself. Ain't nothing really changed, I'm self-sufficient as hell. Catch me riding down the 5, right? Exit to the sky, I'm headed out of town, I'm headed out of my mind. Head up in the clouds, I'm never coming down, no, I'm never coming down. Never coming down, no, I'm never coming down, no, I'm never coming down. Never coming down, no, I'm never coming down.